Welcome back, everybody, to the Chandie Speaks podcast. Mic check 1 2 1 2. I'm here. 12:12 on the clock right now. Okay, it just turned 12:13, but I just checked the time. It's 12:12 on 12/23/25. This will be uploaded on Christmas Eve. Wow, we're already here. We're already here. Welcome back. Yay. Another week. Damn, wow. It's really 8 days until the end of the year. Can you believe it? Can you really believe that? Wow. I mean, yeah, I guess that's what happens. Time goes on. We had the winter solstice on Sunday. How's my sound? Ooh. This is kind of where I like it right here, but I'm getting used to my radio personality voice. Yeah, we had the solstice on... Actually, I think it might be too loud. Am I blaring right now? Hello, hello. It's Chandie. I do the mic check every so often, or every episode now. It's basically part of the intro with every episode. Okay. All right, let's get into it. What happened this week? Crazy things energetically. We are officially in winter. We are in the winter. We have the winter solstice on Sunday. This will be uploaded tomorrow, Wednesday. And yeah, I'm continuing to release things and let go of things that I'm not trying to carry into 2026. It sounds halfway seductive, this voice right here. I don't know. It's like I'm just chilling. We're here in beautiful Sedona, Arizona still. We're going to be working on Christmas. I don't celebrate the holidays. Really, I kind of don't. Okay, so I had a holiday party. That's something that happened. Get into some story time. I had a holiday party, and it wasn't really even a party. It was a holiday dinner for work, for the bed and breakfast that I work for. So we went to some really nice restaurant. I actually dressed up for the first time in a long time. I don't get to dress up this is generally my aesthetic. I know you can't really see if you're not watching the video version. If you're just listening, I call it the hobo aesthetic. I'm comfortable, hoodies, leggings, sweatpants, I'm not like, I'm just comfortable. So whenever I get an opportunity to dress up, I'm like, I kind of feel like outside of myself, like, oh, this is a part of me too. I like being pretty. I like dressing up. But it's like, definitely not really like, I don't know. This is my comfort zone right here. I'm chilling right now. So went to a Christmas or a holiday dinner for work, and of course they were exchanging gifts. Nobody told me anything about gifts, and now I'm that girl who just like, oh, I didn't think that I should get gifts for people. Sorry, I don't think about things like that. But now, it's like, it's weird because now I have like this pressure like that. We're not expecting anything. I wasn't expecting anything either, but now I have this gift that you thought about, and I'm like a dick if I don't like do something, So that's like the only downside to like the holiday spirit, the holiday seasons. Like I get it, for the most part I'm here for it, but like the pressure. So I started making them. I don't know. By the time this will go up, it'll probably be done. But I started making them some scarves, crocheting them. And I started over like 3 different times because I'm just not focused. I'm running around. I'm working 2 jobs. I'm doing this podcast thing. I'm making connections. Walking. I'm like doing stuff with my dog. I'm out and about. I don't really make the time to like, I guess, think about, I don't know, making some gifts. I think, if I were to give, I'd prefer to make the gifts. It's a labor of love, and I've already restarted this one scarf like 3 different times. and I gotta finish it. And it's like, oh, you gotta finish it by Christmas. I'm like, no, y'all are gonna get it when you get it. Okay, it might be a couple days after the New Year's. Oh my God. Speaking of, I I almost forgot to mention. I cannot believe I was just about to let this shit slide like it wasn't the biggest fucking news, y'all. I am. I can't. I am officially booked. Booked my flight. What day is it? Today's Tuesday. I booked it on Friday to Costa Rica, you guys. I'm going to Costa motherfucking Rica. I can't believe man, I'm high as hell too. Almost forgot. How could I? I have my notes here, so I'm reading them. But right when I said New Year, and I was like, what's big happening right now for me so far for 2026, other than letting the things go and moving, into a more authentic version of myself and yada, 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 y'all. I'm 2 weeks booked right now for Costa Rica. Oof. Don't got nowhere to go right yet. I'll figure that shit out later. But took the first step. It was 88 days away, and now it's 84 days away. I got my countdown on my exciting countdown on my screen again. I missed having my countdown. I was like, damn, usually I have a countdown for somewhere I'm going. And it's been a while. It's been a little minute. Guyana, coming back from Guyana, I feel like, and this is the irresponsible spender in me, but I don't give a fuck. I feel Guyana, I'm still kind of recovering from that a little bit. Just trying to, I haven't gotten ahead really since Guyana. And I think, well, I'm pretty damn sure the reason why is because I moved in the middle of the summer, at the height of the busy season here in Sedona, to try and make it here in Sedona, and I got set back by like a month. I was like unemployed, physically on paper, for like a month. Well, I wasn't receiving an income. How about that? I was employed, but I had to wait 2 weeks and all that bullshit. But anyway, I'm here. I'm at this first step, and it's like, oh, it's the most exciting feeling, but it's also like, and I think that's another reason why I casually forgot, like, oh, so matter-of-factly, I just booked a flight. It's because, like, I do have to keep, like, a level of composure. I do have to keep, like, my cool in a way, because right now, on paper, I am going by myself. This will be just saying it out loud. It's so beautiful. I am going to Costa Rica by myself. It'll be fourth. It'll be the fifth or fourth time I went to Jamaica, Dominican Republic, the Cayman Islands, and Guyana. So this will be the fifth trip that I have booked myself with the intention of going completely by myself. Now, Jamaica, I ended up, having a couple friends book their flight after I booked my flight, after I asked them to come with me. And Belize, my ex-husband, booked that flight, so I didn't have to worry about that. But this trip, and it's so crazy at the timing. I booked it before the solstice. What day was the solstice? Sunday? I booked it on Friday, you guys. I'm like, no, I'm wrapping this shit up in here now. I'm walking into 2026 with an international trip under my belt. Okay, won't I do it? Yes, I could, and I did. I did it. Well, just so happened, I don't know what day it was. It was probably around the last episode. So a little over a week ago, right before the last episode, I have a friend who lives in Colorado who just, we randomly reconnected back on Facebook, and she, I guess she thought of me when she got into her new bus. She lives out somewhere in Denver area, Colorado area, but she got herself a new bus, and she's getting into bus life, van life, and and I was like, wow, so happy for her. I love when my people feel inspired, or think of me when they want to get into this lifestyle. It's not for everyone, but she's really doing it. I'm really happy for her. She's cleaning out the bus, gutting it, doing all the work. She's getting some help, and I'm really excited for her. Well, after I booked the flight, I thought about it. I was like, well, I've seen her pictures. I think she went to Dominican Republic, and I feel like she may have had a passport. So I asked her, I'm like, hey, do you have a passport? Fuck it, I'd ask her, would you want to go to Costa Rica with me? Guess what? She said that she wants to go to Costa Rica with me as well. And her birthday, I'm going for my birthday, March 23rd. Her birthday's in March as well. Okay, it's almost like divine timing. I couldn't make this shit up. So I'm like, what are the odds? You can come to Costa Rica with me. Flights are hella cheap right now. And we can both celebrate our birthdays and we can do a little girls trip, which, okay, so here's the thing with that. Like, people always say that they're going to book their flight. I'll believe it when I see your itinerary, okay? Bless her heart, no shade or anything. But every trip I invite people, every trip that I've gone on, I've invited people. And I've always, with the exception of Jamaica, I went by myself, and I had a great time either fucking way. I had a wonderful time, probably better than I would have had, respectfully. But, that's a fun thought to think. Like, hey, I can actually have, a group trip, But either way, I'm going. I'm going to fucking go there. I'm going to, another good news regarding that, like, since I work at the bed and breakfast, my boss, I'm just like, tooting my own horn. Life's been pretty chill this week. I'm just super grateful and blessed. And yeah, so my boss at the Airbnb has connections in the hotel business. She's been in the hospitality business for like 40 years or something like that. So she's like, let me know where you're going to stay in Costa Rica and for how long, and I can get you, a hookup. More details on that later. I don't want to say the specific hotel, but a very big, well-known international hotel. I'm able to get some discounts on that, which I've never got to experience. Now, okay, so here's my thing with that. Like, whenever I travel internationally, I like being amongst the local people. I like being in the street. In fact, I've documented all of my international trips. Well, the last 3, and they're on YouTube. Go follow Chandie Speaks on YouTube. The Van Life Diary series, and it's an international travel series also. And I like being amongst the local people. I like, feeling the energy and the culture of the country where I'm at. I feel like if I'm in a resort or a fancy place, nothing wrong with it, but I don't get to experience what I came to experience, and it's not for everybody. Some people enjoy that. That's how they vacation, is they go and remove themselves from the culture and the people and, go to these fancy resorts. But, it would be nice if I got to experience it for a few days. So, I'm going to be out there for 2 weeks. So I figure I've never got to experience it. It's probably nice to experience, Same thing with like a first class flight. I've never experienced a first class flight, and I've thought about, like, it's not really my thing, but maybe I should experience it once, at least once, just to see what all the hype's about. I saw these really nice hotels with, like, what are they called? Infinity pools or whatever. The pool that looks like you're about to, like, fall off the fucking building, but you're, like, in the pool and you see, like, the view. Like, that would be nice to experience. And you don't really get that kind of experience in B&Bs or bed and breakfast or hostels and stuff, which is generally, like, my vibe when I go out to travel. Try and keep it tight-knit, really close, really intimate location. I stayed in the places in a home that had like a side room, and they were like offering me food and stuff. That was in the Cayman Islands. I was there for Christmas and for New Year's Eve. So yeah, so that's something. I'm really excited about this trip. I gotta keep my cool, but it's like this is like the shortest period of time where I've booked a flight, and I feel like I'm confident that if I if I can just, not, get all emotional at work and like just keep my cool, keep my head down, and I think I can pull it off with this, soul snatching fucking car payment that I've been doing so far for 2 years. I'm really blessed. I'm really fucking grateful. That's big news for me. I know. I've only been talking for 15 minutes, but that's big news for me. So, yeah, we can go into like I guess that some more. Like, I don't so I generally so when I travel, I like being local with the people. I don't really go out to the big fancy, hotels or resorts or anything like that. But I've been learning with at least my last 2 trips that the transportation thing is gonna be a thing out there. And that's because I spent entirely too much money on the taxis in Cayman Islands, and I learned my lesson from then. I learned my lessons from then. In Guyana, I walked pretty much everywhere. I know I wanted to get a bike, but I couldn't find a bike, but I think that would be an option. The taxi, I only got in the taxi one time after landing and then going back to the airport. And also one other time. Like, I minimized my taxis and I walked everywhere. And so the thing is with Costa Rica, it's like, it's not as small as Cayman Islands, for sure. Like the Grand Cayman, the big island, is 22 miles long. You can drive across the whole island, the whole country, in like 2 hours. And it's like 10 miles wide or something like that. Really small country. And then Guyana, relatively smaller than Costa Rica. And most of it is like forest. So there's really only one place to be in Guyana, which is the capital, Georgetown. Now Costa Rica and fucking Guyana was lit, like as far as transportation, like groceries. I saved so much fucking money not having to eat out because the food was so affordable there and everything was just so fucking close together, and I walked damn near everywhere. Now Costa Rica, it's like everything is spread out. It's like a huge fucking country relative to Guyana. I would probably say it'd be the biggest. Wow, are we saying that? Wow, it would be the biggest international country. God bless us. That I've ever been to. That's bringing a little tear to my moment. Unless Dominican Republic was bigger. Technically, Dominican Republic is part of the whole island of, but it's its own country, so it's half that island, Hispaniola or something. I gotta see if Dominican Republic. I'm pretty sure Dominican Republic is much smaller than Costa Rica. Because I'm just about to tear up right now. It says Costa Rica is slightly bigger than the Dominican Republic in total area. Whew. With Costa Rica around 19,700 square miles, or 51,000 square kilometers, and the Dominican Republic about 18,700 square miles, 48,000 square kilometers, making Costa Rica the larger of the two in terms of landmass, though both are comparable in size to a U.S. state like West Virginia. So yeah, that's a heart-filling moment right there for me. Good for me. This will be like the biggest country. And Dominican Republic, although it was wonderful, I had a wonderful fucking time. Beautiful fucking country. I was only in Santo Domingo. And that's another thing. I'm gonna brush up on my Spanish. Like, I'm missing, no hables de mí porque sé lo que están hablando. Para mí. What is it? What is the other one? Oh, yeah, I miss speaking some Spanish, some Spanglish. But this is wild. Okay, so Costa Rica is bigger than Dominican Republic. And I was only in Santo Domingo. Santo Domingo. Felicite Fernandez. Oh, God, I'm high. I went to one of the puntas, either Punta Playa, Punta Cana, Samaná. I basically stayed on the east side of Santo Domingo, minus that one day on my birthday when I took a private boat ride to a little private beach in Samaná after I sunbathed and had pina coladas from a real coconut. So that was lovely. Costa Rica, everything is spread out. So, and like really the transportation in Dominican Republic was it was probably the worst experience I ever had, actually. Even more so, like Cayman Islands was just expensive, but Dominican Republic was like everybody was trying to fucking scam me. The Uber scam is what I discovered when I went out to Dominican Republic. Everybody was trying to scam me. They were trying to like pay in cash. What do you got? The only time you pay at Uber in cash, if you know, you know, is when you go out of the country. And Dominican Republic was my first time experiencing like Uber drivers. Man, I was pissed off, actually. I remember that. I made some videos about it because they all were like in cahoots with each other, and they were all like, yo, I know, because I'd get a ride and they were like, well, I'm not doing it for less than whatever it was, like 40, whatever the Uber price said. They like doubled it, and it had to be in cash, and then they had to like tell me to cancel the ride. If I wanted a ride, I had to cancel the ride and then give them the cash for them to take me. And I was like, okay. I had to do that a couple times. And then I remember one time they came and I didn't want to do it. I just canceled the ride and I tried to call another Uber, but the next guy came and he was like, oh no, you already told Buddy that you're not going to do it, so you're going to do it for me. I was like, fuck you guys. So what I ended up doing, I think, out there, which I figured out like near the end, was just calling like the highest Uber, the Uber XL or whatever that is, like the most luxury ass Uber, because there's few of them around and it's like slightly more money and it's a slightly bigger ride, and you know, but for the most part they're not gonna try and negotiate prices with you. They'll just like take you and you can get that big ass empty SUV by yourself without having to like pay them, because in cash that's so crazy. And after Dominican Republic, I'm like, no, I'm not doing that shit again. Cayman Islands was after that, and yeah, I spent so much money on taxis, but they don't have tax out there, and sales tax, I believe. And also, like, the island was so fucking small to get from one side of the I don't even know if you guys heard any of that. To get from one side of the island to the other, the Grand Cayman, it was like $80, I believe. No, I think halfway. To get from one side of the island to just a halfway point would be $80. So I would assume it would be like $160 just to get across the entire island. Costa Rica is like everything spread out, so I'm still trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to do. Usually when I go to these countries, I don't actually think about what I'm going to do until I'm physically there. I know, and many people may think it sounds irresponsible, and that's not for me, because sometimes it's good for me to not have a definite plan, just to know that I got the basics covered, which is I have cash, always travel with some cash. I have my dog taken care of, my van taken care of. I got the flight booked. I got the accommodations where I'm going to stay. I feel like that's the basics, and I got maybe like one thing that I definitely want to do when I go out there. For Guyana, it was the waterfall. I saw that on my very last day. For Dominican Republic, I think I just wanted to have authentic tres leches cake. Like that was my only goal out there, and I had a blast out there. I had way much more than I anticipated out there. Like they have like crystals out there that are only found in Dominican Republic. I forget. So I usually go. In Jamaica, I was just trying to. I don't even know what I like. I'm like, I just need to go to the Bob Marley Museum. That's all I need to do, and everything else usually just comes together. So that's another thing that I like about like the freedom of solo traveling. Although it sounds like intimidating, like it's scary, but really it is freeing to not have to worry about what other people would, you know, need or want, because, you know, I'm kind of needing to, give an itinerary or give like an idea to this friend who wants to come with me, but I don't, so I'm giving her something like, hey, there's this and there's that, but I'm not setting anything in stone really until I get there. There's one thing that I definitely want to do when I go out there. I want to go skydiving again. It'll be my first time skydiving in another country, which would be fucking sick. Okay. And they have a whole ass skydiving thing out there in Costa Rica. That's the only thing I want to do, that I have my heart set on, and it's crazy fucking expensive. Okay, so I don't expect anyone to want to go with me. She's like, oh, that sounds fun. Okay, yeah, like I said, I'll believe it when I see your itinerary. You can come and whatever, but I'm definitely going to go skydiving. And then, not having to think about she's going to have a birthday out there too. So there's also that. There's me having to share my space just like she's sharing her space. So anyway, I'm geeked about this site, about this trip. The driving part is like, probably my biggest concern outside of like what am I gonna do? Because I'm happy with just staying in a fucking place with running water and electricity. Like, a vacation is supposed to be a break from your normal life, right? So this is what I do normally. Okay, I'm van lifing it, roughing it. I'm living the fucking dream. But whenever I get access to like a flushing toilet or a stove, I'm like, yo, this is luxury. Okay. This is great. I need to get some water. I have no water. We went on a walk this morning. I flew the drone a little bit. I'm halfway over this podcast. Not really. I'm just geeked about Costa Rica, and I know a lot of this episode will be about that, because that's like the biggest thing that happened this last week was I just fucking did it. I booked the flight. I can't explain the feeling. It's orgasmic almost. It's like, yeah, I did that. And even if you don't like get it, like, okay, so I got a little bit of it because I knew I was going to book the flight. A little bit of an excitement once I clicked book flight, right? And I got the email and the itinerary. But it didn't really start settling in until I started, just going about my day. And then like every now and then I'll think about it. I'm like, ooh, and it just like, it's exciting, it just makes me feel good all over again. I love, like, the anticipation is mostly, maybe that's part of it. The anticipation really is what gets me. The journey to the next country is like probably a little bit more exciting, if not the same, than I like being there. Because like I said, I'd be good just being there. It doesn't matter anywhere. Taking a break from the van life, so this will be fun. This will be so fucking fun, you guys. I know I've talked about this before, but I'm part of a very, very small percentage of people worldwide who has traveled to 5 countries or more. Highly recommend. If you don't have your passport, what are you really doing? What are you really doing? All right. I'm fucking excited. More to come on that later. I'll be fucking podcasting in another country. That'll be a first. Well, like, that'll be fucking awesome. I got a couple Facebook questions about Costa Rica. Since I'm on the Costa Rica topic, I'm gonna go ahead and read some of those Facebook questions that I asked in these groups, and then we can move off of Costa Rica. I know most of you probably won't care, and I'm not trying to throw shade. That's just the statistics. Most people won't ever get to leave their home country or hometown, and I believe that's like a I don't know. A lot of it is your environment and all that shit, but also I think it's what we tell ourselves, um, the the environment in our mind. You feel me? Because when you tell yourself you can't leave or this is holding you back, and then guess what? You're held back. A lot of people, and I get it, not everyone has the freedom to choose their life, to choose their. I think that's just something you tell yourself, though. I don't know. I know a lot of people who don't even travel outside of their home state, let alone their home country, because of their family. If you keep waiting for people to do things, you probably won't ever do things. Especially if you tell yourself that's why you're not doing things. I joined a couple Costa Rica groups. So this group is called Costa Rica. It's a public group. It's called Costa Rica Travel Tips and Resources. It has over 284,000 members. And I asked a question about the driving, I think, in this group. I'm so thirsty. Oh. Okay, so I said I'm heading to Costa Rica for 2 weeks in March, and I'm hesitant to rent a car due to driving in a foreign country. Would hiring a driver be a good option? Any tips or words of encouragement would be greatly appreciated. And now it's not letting me read the post. Any tips or words of encouragement would be greatly appreciated. Areas I'd like to visit, ideally San Jose, La Fortuna, 𝘬𝗵𝗄, Jaco, Costa. Those are the big ones. 𝘬𝗵𝗄 is where the skydiving airport thing is. So definitely got to be there. But that's 100 miles from where I'm landing. They have another airport out there, but then that means now I'm all the way on the south west side, and there's a whole northeast side, and La Fortuna is a big touristy town. So it's there's a lot of stuff that I'm trying to squeeze in there, but really it might not be all that, fam. It really might not. Thinking back to Dominican Republic, a lot of okay, so I'm aware that I'm afraid of the water. Let's just put that out there. So that whenever I go to these vacations or islands that's surrounded by water, it's like 80% of the things that I can do is just not going to be done because it involves being in the water. You guys go back to the Cayman Islands, Van Life Diaries, when I went to the Cayman Islands and everybody was fucking snorkeling with manatees. And I'm like, yeah, nah, son, that's not really cool for me or with me. I don't really see the fucking, see the point in doing all that. And the only time I got in the water was when the shallow end came and I got to hold starfish for the first time. That was beautiful. Starfish are awesome. That was in the shallow end. If it goes over my knees, I'm and I can't swim. I'm I have a healthy respect and fear of the water. I'll be the first to admit that. So I know that when I go to these places, I know that yeah, I'm not down with any of that. I know, I was what kind of things do you like to do with my friend? And she's oh, the beach. I almost could have said it myself for her. I'm huh, let me guess. The beach. Bitches love going to the beach. Not really a big, I don't see the hype about, I'll go to the beach, but it's not, I don't go to another country to go to a beach. It's probably because of the water thing. The whole thing, the sand. I'll go to the beach to take a picture of the sunset. That's probably the only reason. But the water, the crowds, the dirt, sand, whatever. They call it sand. It's fucking dirt. Getting everywhere. It's mostly just for photography and a social time. I don't get it. So, and then I don't really do many water activities. It may not even work out when I go to Costa Rica to go to these crazy crazy fucking places. They got a lot of like rainforests out there. I'm okay with anything on land and air. I feel like I'm confident with the earth and the air. Fire elements, that's another thing. There are volcanoes like out the fucking yin yang out in fucking Costa Rica. They have volcanoes all over the fucking country, and I've never been around that. And I'm like, well, I'm a fire sign, so I kind of need to go to a volcano. I'd rather go to a volcano than to go into like the deep fucking sea. I haven't got to my water bending yet. Still trying to master these other elements. But yeah, skydiving, fuck yeah. I already been skydiving in Colorado, and that it's a long time ago. I'm like, I need to do that shit again. I'm okay with that. And anything on the earth, like rock climbing, fucking hiking, mountain biking. I don't really know. You really have to pull me to go to the beach, really. It's not my thing. Sorry. I look cute in a bikini. I know that. That's the only other reason I go, just to look cute. Really, what is the beach? Okay, anyway, back to this Facebook question. So these are the places I'd like to visit ideally, and I was asking, would hiring a driver be a good options? So I said San Jose, La Fortuna, Quiepos, Jaco, and Costa. And it's a public post. The name of the group is Costa Rica Travel Tips and Resources. I'm just going to read a few of these comments. Paula says, you can drive, rent a car, just don't drive at night. Suggest using the Waze app, which I actually had to look up what that was, or I still have to look up what that is. I think it's like an app that you're able to use outside of the country that gives you GPS. Something like that. I also noticed that a lot of people suggested not to drive at night. I normally don't even listen to other people because I don't like living in fear, and I don't, some people, they project a lot of their own beliefs, their own subconscious beliefs onto you. Like, bless their heart, but like I don't be trying to hear it. But the only reason why I'm considering it is because another friend is wanting to theoretically come with, because otherwise I would just go. And listen to my own intuition. As ignorant or naive as that sounds, it's worked for me so far 5 times. Steven writes, La Fortuna is the only decent area. The other areas are high crime. Be very careful driving in Costa. The roads are windy and slick due to years and years of oil from older cars dropped on roadway. When people say things like the other areas are high crime, I have to like figure out where the hell is this guy from? Okay? Because what's high crime to you may not be high crime to me at all. People were saying that in Guyana, and I think, if it weren't for me halfway listening to local people tell me that it's high crime there, then I would have done a little bit more. I don't know. But yeah, I don't listen to people when they say things like that. I will take into consideration that he said the roads are slick due to years and years of oil from older cars dropped on the roadway. So, okay, I'll read a couple more comments and then move on to something else. Herb writes, I find driving through Costa Rica to really be no problem at all, but if you are already stressed at the thought of it, with the fact it looks like you plan to arrive in San Jose, you'd be better to hire a driver. Driving in the greater San Jose area can be very stressful for many. And then a lot of people were commenting, hey, I'm a driver, hey, I'm a driver, or I rent out cars or something like that. So it's nice to have that as a, resource. Really excited about this Costa Rica trip. That's probably like the theme of this whole episode. I'm sorry if I'm not talking about anything else. This is just a travel episode. You know what? And I'm going to bring this up because it is kind of relevant. In the last week, island bestie from Grand Cayman. Well, I met him in Grand Cayman, but he's from Guyana originally. I met him a few days before Christmas in 2023 in the Cayman Islands. Joshua, shout out to my island bestie Joshua. He had a birthday last week. And you guys, y'all, if you've been following me, you already know about Joshua. Joshua came up to me when I was at an EDM concert. I was like, this is how I figure out what to fucking do. I was in the Cayman Islands. It was like my second or third day there. And it was a Friday night or something, or Saturday night. And I was just sitting in the B&B. I'm like, what am I going to do today or tonight? And Cayman Islands is pretty fucking safe, even at night. I feel absolutely safe, like unbelievably safe. I've walked out in the middle of the night in the Grand Cayman. So I'm like, okay. I got on Facebook and I just looked up the events in Facebook, and there was like this EDM show that was just so happened to be happening like on Christmas Eve's. It was like the couple days before Christmas. And it was like just like right down the street because it's such a small island. So I was like, I could take a bus. That's when I learned about the buses out there. Dude, sidebar, the buses in Cayman Islands are the best value for transportation out there. It's like I said, $80 to get from the midway point to the other end, when the bus will take you all around the entire island for $2. Okay? Not even bullshitting. So yeah, I hopped on the bus, got ready, hopped on the bus, went and had some dinner and some wine at this nearby restaurant while the sun was setting, getting closer to the show. Went into the show. This is my first time going to a show by myself. Oh, bringing back memories. Even in America, I've never gone to a concert by myself. Never put myself out there in those crazy social situations. It's crazy to think about now, but I was like, wow, I did it for the first time in the Cayman Islands. And it was literally life-changing because that's where I met Joshua. He saw that he came by himself. He just so happened to live up the street. He's like, let me buy you some wine. I love wine. And we were dancing like the whole fucking night long. My fucking island bestie. We hung out like after that, like a few times. We spent New Year's together. We brought in 2024 together. Bless his heart. He just had a fucking birthday, and now he actually lives in New York. He was in the Cayman Islands, originally born in Guyana, and while I was there, he was like, next year you need to go to Guyana. You need to go to my country. And he was supposed to come with me. You guys know the story. He was supposed to come with me. But right now he's in New York trying to get his American citizenship, or, whatever it is, trying to become a legal American citizen. I think he is like in the process, but he can't like leave outside of the country for a year or something like that. So I ended up going to Guyana by myself. Shout out to Joshua, my island bestie. If it weren't for him telling me to do that, I went to Guyana this year, I would have never met my Guyanese bestie, Rochelle. Shout out to Rochelle in Guyana. This is the year, yeah. 2025 has been the year. She's probably the best thing that's happened to me in this year. The best connection I made this year. And it was all because of Joshua. And even going back further than that, it was all because I was like, I want to bring in the new year in another country. And I just so happened to have an extra $3,000 on me as a settlement from my car accident. So Cayman Islands it was, and the rest is history. Happy birthday, Joshua, my island bestie. Is that all I wanted to get into? This is just going to be a travel episode. This is just going to be a travel episode. I'm just so grateful, so blessed, so happy to share my travel journey with the world and with myself. Okay, I think I had a YouTube comment that I wanted to comment on, and then I wanted to get out of here. But what was the comment? I'm still off of TikTok, you guys. Never felt better. But now it's sort of like, because I used it to sort of like trigger people into engaging And a couple people have told me that I'm going about it the wrong way. Like, it's not what I'm saying, it's how I'm saying it. But I'm like, yeah, that's the point. But it's not really reaching the people who it needs to reach when I say it in certain ways. But sometimes it does. Looking at it now, this short thing that I posted on TikTok a while ago, I recently reposted it on YouTube. I'll just read it. I'll just read my little TikTok post that is on YouTube right now. It said, the male loneliness epidemic is self-inflicted. Do I even really want to get into this? I don't even really think I care enough to read about this. Okay. I guess. God. Yeah. What was I thinking when I wrote this? The male loneliness epidemic is self-inflicted. Because it just feels like, it feels like sometimes that, see, I can't even say it now, knowing what I know now. And I wrote this such a long time ago because I was going to say it feels like it's something that they're bringing on themselves. Like, if they're so lonely, then why don't they want relationships? But it's not that they don't want the relationships. It's just they're kind of in this cycle with the women right now where there aren't really good enough women to be in relationships with or whatever have you. And like I've said before, I believe everyone is going to settle on something someday. And maybe the loneliness is just something the men will have to settle on, even in the relationship. There are plenty of married men who are lonely because women don't listen. I'm sorry, I'm on a soapbox, not sorry. But I'm just kind of trying to paint the picture of the post. Yeah, there are plenty of married people, men and women, who are lonely, but men more so, I believe, in some situations because of just how it is. That's, women have a hard time listening or accepting the reality of things and a personal accountability and all that stuff. So male loneliness doesn't actually mean like they're alone. They could just feel alone as well. So is that true to my post then? Do I still believe that the male loneliness epidemic is self-inflicted? I believe anything, yes. In a larger picture, yes. Anything that is happening to you that you don't want to happen to you, or I believe that you have the power to change it, and your best thinking is going to get you to where you need to be. So if you feel lonely, you do have the... Ooh, okay, but then it also goes back to, see, now I'm talking myself into circles, because then it goes back to, okay, so then what? Would they rather feel lonely or be alone? If they don't want to settle on feeling loneliness, this is crazy. It's kind of fucked up for all of us. It's kind of fucked up for all of us. I'm praying for the men and praying for the women. I think we're all getting back to that place, though. I would like to believe so. And I don't know what that place is. Mostly self-love, I think. Yeah, maybe like not feeling alone when you have yourself. Or maybe it's God. Maybe you're supposed to get closer to God to avoid all that. I don't know. I'm just here. Let me read this comment from probably some triggered lonely men. Tom writes, if male loneliness were truly self-inflicted, then surely it was also women who taught men not to show emotions, or society which punishes men for being vulnerable. It's easy to blame men when you ignore social reality. The problem isn't that men choose loneliness, it's that they're taught from a young age not to seek support. If you dismiss male loneliness as your own fault, that's not feminism, it's hypocrisy. You can't acknowledge structural problems for women and deny them for men. Okay, I think he was said a mouthful there. Let me just break this down. So he says, if male loneliness were truly self-inflicted, then surely it was also women who taught men not to show emotions. I mean, I guess that's the circle of life, but then who taught, we can go back and forth with that. He says, or society which punishes men for being vulnerable. That I don't understand because I'm not a man, so I really don't understand how society punishes men for being vulnerable. Just from where I'm seeing it, and like could be from my woman brain where I can't see it. But I think it's something else. Because I don't believe, at least in this day and age, I don't believe, or at least I don't see it often, that society is punishing men for being vulnerable. I think it's actually more of the opposite. Like we're trying to we're trying to get you guys to be vulnerable, and maybe some of them are too vulnerable. So I don't know. It's easy, he says, it's easy to blame men when you ignore social reality. A lot of this is coming from a hurt space from him, and I get it because, he's definitely projecting. I just said a simple sentence, and people interpret it how they interpret it. But he says, because how am I blaming men for some... I don't know. The wording in that his wording is not sitting well with me. The male loneliness epidemic is self-inflicted. So is that blaming men for their own loneliness? And if that is blaming men for their own loneliness, then is that also ignoring social reality? Why can't it be both? Why can't I acknowledge the social reality that men are self-inflicting loneliness? Yada, yada, yada. I'm kind of just rambling to myself. He says, the problem isn't that men choose loneliness, it's that they're taught from a young age not to seek support. I don't know if that's true or not. Again, I'm not a man, so I don't know how it is. I don't know the man experience, perspective, trying to understand it, but really not really. I think that was the only comment that sort of like made me want to think about something. Someone else said, let me guess, a feminist wrote this. And no, I'm not. I don't identify as that, any of that. So that's some YouTube comments for you. Go follow me, Chandie Speaks. I think I'm pretty much done. I gotta go to work in a couple hours. I gotta get a nap in. I gotta try and finish this scarf before Christmas or whenever I get around to it. Got a whole ass itinerary to plan for Costa Rica. Y'all, thank you for listening. I'm geeked. I think hold on. Is this the last one of the year? Hold up. Is this the last podcast of 2020? No. We got one more, baby. New Year's Eve. That's my daddy's birthday. We got one more podcast of 2025. Golly, can you believe it? We chilling here. We're always chilling. Living the dream. Me and Ashes. She's napping. Sounds good. I might take a nap too. But yeah, I'll see you guys next week.